Good. Issue number 1 to the Taoiseach Minister for Social Protection, the recent changes in assessing seasonal workers for job seekers benefit in Southwest Donegal. Deputy Thomas Pringle.
Thank you, Cancurla, and thank you for the opportunity to raise this issue, which is of very important to seasonal workers in Southwest Donegal, particularly those working within the fishing industry. There's 3 aspects I'd like to address, just if I can, in the time that I have. And there's the changes that have come in, some of them due to the Budget 2012 and the changes to the entitlement for job seekers benefit from that time. The first item is just in relation to job seekers benefit and the qualifying conditions. As the Minister knows, job seekers last for 9 months in the year, and the impact of the changes in qualifying criteria and the implementation of the 9 months period is really starting to come home to roost in the last 6 or 8 months in the Southwest Donegal area, where qualifying people have to move on to job seekers allowance after the job seekers benefit has run out, which of course is a means tested payment. But there's a number of people who, and particularly couples, who would be working in seasonal work in the fishing industry, and one couple that I know of had lost over €150 a week when they changed over to the means tested assessment, and also they lose the entitlement initially on job seekers allowance for child dependent allowance for children who are in full-time education, and this is having a very severe impact, and I think it will be an impact that will increase more over the next couple of years as well as these changes bed in completely. So that's the first item. The second item then is in relation to subsidiary employment and the entitlement to job seekers benefit as well. So it's linked to the same period, but in Southwest Donegal and in many rural areas, many farmers would be part-time farmers who would work in the fishing industry and fish processing factories to supplement their income from farming. And the assessment then, when they become unemployed, and the looking at whether their entitlement to job seekers benefit comes in under subsidiary employment from their farming income. Now the requirements are that they can't have an income of more than $12.70 a day from the subsidiary employment, which is, they have no problem with that because they're all small farmers and they get very low income from that. But there's also the requirement that they have to have 117 paid contributions in the previous 3 years. And because of the nature of the seasonal work and the impact of quotas, where the working season has been reduced, it's virtually impossible for them to have the 117 contributions. So again, this means that they'll have to depend on a means-tested payment, and it will have a severe impact on the sustainability, basically, of them staying and availing of the seasonal work that is available in the area. And that's the only thing work that is available across Donegal for people as well. And the last item then is just as more administration, is that the Department has recently introduced the scannable dockets for unemployed people, seasonal workers, into the Killybegs local social welfare office, which means that the unemployed people have to go to their employer every week to have their docket signed and stamped by the employer, and this creates a severe burden on them, because many workers would have to travel maybe 30-mile round trip to actually go to their employer to have the docket stamped and signed. So that's, while it maybe reduces an administrative burden on the department, it actually increases it for employers and also increases the difficulty for the workers themselves in actually having the docket signed. So those are the changes that are implemented in the last while, Minister, and I just think that maybe with a wee bit of tweaking we could go back and make it more accessible for people and for people to manage on job seekers benefit.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you very much, Deputy, for raising the matter. I wish to advise the Deputy Department has not made any changes recently to the arrangements to apply for seasonal workers who are in receipt of job seekers benefit and allowances. Deputy, I've given a brief note, but unfortunately it doesn't cover the 3 items you've raised. And so what I would suggest, Deputy, where you get some meaningful engagement in relation to the 3 issues. Could I say is that maybe we would sit down next week and go through those 3 particular items, the scanning in the document and the onerous travel for some people. You mentioned the fishing industry and in relation to the change in the job seekers benefit and for part-time farmers. So I would be happy, rather than give you a stock answer, I'd be much happier to engage with you and see can we look at the impact of what you're suggesting and see can we alleviate it in some manner. I think that's the most constructive way, rather than giving you a set speech. And I'd be happy to do that. The changes in themselves were the recent changes that were made, which are not related to this, was to facilitate people to go back to work part-time without losing benefits. So if they went back into work, it was easy to transfer back onto job seekers' benefit or job seekers' allowance without a prolonged waiting list for their money to come through. The items you've raised in particular, I think, are particularly related to the fishing industry, small farmers, and then in relation to scanning documents. And I'll be happy to work through those 3 items with you next week if it suits you.
Minister, I'd like to thank you for your response, and I appreciate that. And I think that would be probably a better way of trying to deal with these issues as we could get together. So I'll contact you in relation to organising that, and I appreciate the response in relation to it. Thank you.
Thank you. We have to wait.